Hello, you three. Hopefully you have had a lovely morning completing your reading and maths and English lessons. And now we're going to do a little bit of vocabulary, which is very similar to our reading lesson where we explored the meaning of new words. Now, as we keep saying, it's really important to learn the meaning of new words because you will encounter these in your lives every day. And the more words you know, the better understanding you will have of text that you read, or if someone says that word, you'll know the meaning of it and you'll understand what they're talking about. So it's really important that we try and understand as many new words as possible. Okay, so today we're going to explore new words again in our vocabulary lesson. Most of these you have already seen before, but we are going to go over them again just so that you are familiar with the definitions. All right, so these are going to be your root words. Now, if you remember from last term, root words are the words which contain the core meaning of the word. And from these root words, you can create lots of new words, each with a different meaning. Okay, so these words that we have right here, we're going to work on adding either prefixes or suffixes. I'm not going to tell you yet. We're going to add a group of letters to it to change the meaning of them. But before we do that, let's just have a read through. So we've got natural, standard, biography, villain, merge, hero, mobile, graph, marine, title, power, and pilot. Okay, now you should know what most of these words mean. Okay, so natural, something that occurs, normally, something that occurs often, it's natural to you. It could even be broken down into nature, so some things that you find out in nature, something that is just normal, okay, would be something that's natural. Standard, again, very similar to natural. It's like the basis, the minimum thing that you have to do. It's a standard, okay? Biography is a written piece about someone's life, okay? We've done biographies before when we wrote about different artists. A villain, someone that carries out evil doings, a person that does mean things to people. Often you see them in TV shows where they rob banks or in movies where they try to take over the world. All of those are villains. Then you've got merge, which is to join things together. When you merge things together, you're joining them together. You've got a hero, which is the opposite of villain. So someone that does good, someone that's kind. I know lately we've been talking about our NHS and how they are heroes because they're taking care of all the poorly people that are suffering with COVID. So heroes are just people that do good, not just necessarily your superheroes like Batman and Superman, but just people that do good things every day in their lives. Okay, mobile could do with a phone, but also mobile means something that you move a lot. You move around a bit. If you're mobile, you're moving. That's why people call them mobile phones, because it's a phone that you can carry around with you. A graph, we did that in statistics last term where you record all your data. So graph. Marine, now that has to do with water. Okay, so studying water life. Soldiers that work on the sea, they're called marines. Title, well, we all know what this is, okay, it tells you what something is going to be about. A sentence that tells you what the whole thing is, what the text is going to be about, is a title. Power, well, I think we all know what that means. And then pilot, okay? So pilot, again, could be someone that flies an airplane, all right? So all of these are your new root words. Okay, I've just gone over those definitions really quickly because that is not what our focus is. Our focus, as I said, sorry, before we go on to that, which words can we link together? So here we've got a little bit of a word web, okay? And in this web, in this mind map, can you link any words together? Now, you don't have to do this on any sheet of paper or anything. You just need to think about it. Which words from what we have just read can you link together? So maybe they have the same meaning, maybe they sound the same. Which words can you link together? For example, you could probably do hero and villain. because, you know, villains are those that do mean things and evil deeds, whereas heroes is the opposite, and they do good things and good deeds. All right, they help people, whereas villains tend to hurt people. So those two words, okay, could easily be linked together, and I would put those two in my word web over here. So hero and villain. Okay. Are there any other words that you could probably link together? Well, if you remember, I've just thought about something from our statistics. Whenever we drew those bar graphs, we had to have a title for them, didn't we? Because we needed to know what that graph was about. So title and graph could be linked together. So I could probably put title and graph on this web because they're linked together. Okay. Can you think of anything else? Anything else that you could link to it? Maybe we talk about heroes. We do talk about superheroes. They do have power. Villains tend to have power as well. So maybe, as you can see, there's already a little bit of a web forming over here. So that's the activity that we're doing right now. Maybe I could put power here. Okay, so have a moment, think about if you could link any of those words together to help you remember what they mean. All right, don't take too long because I'm going to show you what the answers are anyway. All right, so just have a think. These are some that we've just done together. And on the next slide, these are my answers. All right, so as I told you, we've got villain, hero, and power. All of those linked together on this web. Graphs usually have a title, so they link together on that web. Pilot and mobile. Now, pilot, someone that drives a plane that moves, and mobile, as I said, means something that you can carry around, something that moves around. So pilot and mobile could go together. And then marine, as I said, had to do with water. And natural, water is natural. When you see the sea, it's something that just occurs normally in life. It's something that's natural, okay? So these are the words that I linked together. If you've done any other different ones to help you remember, well done. But if not, then just have a look at these and try and remember what these words mean. Right, okay. Now, as I said, a prefix, we're going to talk about prefixes. Prefixes are groups of letters added to the beginning of the word, which changes the meaning. So group of letters added to beginning of word, which changes the meaning. So an example of a prefix, and it's added to the beginning of a root word. We've got the prefix super. Okay, now super means having a powerful influence. You go above and beyond, you go to an extreme. Okay, we've got lots of words that have super in it. For example, superhero. Okay, a hero that is very powerful, above and beyond. He's very extreme. Okay, you've also got the word supermarket. So it's a marketplace, but it goes above and beyond. It's really big. It's called a supermarket. Okay, can you think of any other words with super in it? Then we've got sub. Now, whereas super was above and beyond at a higher level to an extreme, sub means at a lower level. It's less than. It's almost the opposite of super. Okay, not quite, but almost. You can link it together those ways. And then finally, you've got auto. I'm sure you can think of a word with auto, for example, automobile. I'll type that up so you remember. And that is just another word for a car or a type of vehicle. Okay, you've also got autopilot. Okay, a pilot that drives by itself. Okay, and all of that, anytime you see that word auto, it means by itself. Okay, one's own thing. Okay, that's all it means when you see auto. Now I'm going to add these words to your root words that we just did to create new words, okay? I'm going to add those, sorry, I said words. I'm going to add those prefixes to our root words to create new words, okay? I know I keep saying the word words a lot, but that's what vocabulary is all about. It's all about understanding the meaning, all right? So take your time to read through these. These were our root words. Let me highlight them so you can see them. Okay, remember these were root words. We did standard, merge, marine, and title. And all I've done is added the prefix sub to it. So substandard, below standard, submerge, submarine, Subtitle. Ooh, we've talked about subtitle a lot. It's those little titles, the title that goes below the main title, usually at the beginning of a paragraph. Okay, then you've got natural, villain, power, and hero. And I've added the prefix super to those. So supernatural, supervillain, superpower, and superhero. Okay, and then finally, biography, mobile, graph, and pilot. And as you can see, we've got, oh, I'm running out of colors, but I'll go with pink. Autobiography, automobile, autograph, autopilot. Okay, so can you see how we've added prefixes to each of the root words that we read right at the beginning? All right, so take your time, read through those ones. And your activity for today is to determine the meaning of these words. Okay, so what is the meaning of those words? We've talked about what the meaning of the root word is. We've talked about the meaning of the prefix. So now join those together. What is the meaning of your new focus word? Okay, so your activity, as I said, is on Teams. So it's a little bit of a quiz. It's not too many questions. Just think about the prefix, think about the root word. So substandard, is it above standard, below standard, or on standard? Subtitle, is it a lesser important title, a headline? Ooh, we did those in newspapers. Or is it your title? Okay, what is a subtitle? I keep telling you, think about those prefixes. It really helps you understand the meaning of the word. Okay. Superpower. Does it mean weak? Does it mean no powers? Or does it mean very great power? Superhero. Does it mean an all-powerful hero, a weak person, or a nice hero? And then lastly, our prefix is auto. So autograph. Is it to write your own name as a signature? Now remember, auto means one's self, itself, okay? Your own self. So is it to write your own name as a signature? To write someone else's name? Or is it to write your teacher's name? Okay, an autograph. And finally, autobiography. Remember I said a biography is when we wrote about someone else's life. So what then would an autobiography be? Would an autobiography be to write about your teacher's life, to write about your friend's life, or to write about your own life? Okay, so those are your 6 questions. If you think about the prefixes, you'll be able to determine the meaning of these words. Okay, and once you've done that, you've done really well. I know it's a lot of information, but we'll go over this each week just so that you're familiar with what these prefixes mean. Okay, so if you're stuck on what those prefixes mean, go back, rewind the video, and we did do it. All right, so have a think. All right, well done year 3. That was a nice quick vocabulary lesson. Hopefully you've learned some new words today, and we'll continue this again next week.